Well, what is going down, everybody? Welcome back once again to another brand new Am I Still on the Air? My name is DONMEGA. I'm here with Peeps. I'm here with Frigginz. And we're ready to break down Superman and all of its spoiler-filled glory, guys. So very happy to have the whole team back tonight as we are ready to break this down. It's been a hot minute. The last spoiler review we did was for the Thunderbolts, aka the New Avengers. Peeps missed that one with us, so welcome back once again, so we can talk about this first entry into the DC universe. And this is spoilers once again, so if you haven't seen the movie, you can turn away and come back after you've seen it. But if you have seen it or you don't care about spoilers, then this is where you want to be for the next hour or so as we break it all down for you. Once again, my name is DONMEGA, and you can follow along there at the bottom from Am I on the Air, as this is our special episode here of Am I Still on the Air? And once again with these guys, Frigginz, what's up, man?
Yo, hey, I'm super excited to talk about this one. Thanks for having us on, man. I'm already off to a great start. I can see Peeps is super happy about that.
And then we got Peeps over there. What up?
Frigginz, your jokes are my kryptonite. It just hurts.
Yes. All right.
Yo, I'm glad. Wow, I'm actually here. Thank you guys for actually waiting for me this time. I appreciate it.
Hey, man. It's all about scheduling, you know. There's plenty of episodes you have that I'm not on, so.
I don't get.
So you can follow along all the socials there at the bottom, everything you need to follow along with the show in general. But tonight, again, we are talking spoilers for Superman. Very excited to get into this one. This was my most anticipated film of the year, and happy to say it paid off in spades because we do our most anticipated list every single year, and there's always a lot of films on that list that we come into the year super strong about, and at the end of the year, we're like, God damn, that didn't even make my top 10. So happy to say that this one here probably will make that top 10 as we proceed down the year. But very happy to be back here for this episode. Man, let's get on into it. Let's kind of tell the story a little bit here. Of course, we had the DCEU that was started by Zack Snyder with Man of Steel. That was, of course, the first entry into that cinematic universe with Henry Cavill as Superman. And then, of course, we had Batman v Superman. We had the Justice League. We got Aquaman. We got Wonder Woman. We got Flash. We got Blue Beetle. We got a Birds of Prey movie. We had Shazam. We had a lot of things in the DCEU that culminated in Black Adam with The Rock. And then at the end of Black Adam, we got a little post-credit scene that had Henry Cavill come out. And he was like, Black Adam, we need to talk. And we thought we were off to the races. We were getting kind of a new reiteration of the DCEU with Henry Cavill coming back. Henry Cavill went on social media and said, I'm back. Yes, it's true. I'm going to make another Superman movie. We're going to do something big with Black Adam. We got a lot of things cooking. And a couple of months later, we found out, no, everything's scrapped. We are starting completely over again. The DCEU is dead. And now we have a new DC Studios, just like Marvel Studios, a dedicated branch of Warner Brothers that is now going to do its own thing in the DC world. And it's going to be speared by James Gunn and Peter Safran, right? They're co-CEOs. Peter Safran kind of handles the, corporate side, all the contracts, all that big stuff. And of course, James Gunn handling the TV and the movies and the casting and kind of the overall direction, right? He has come out and said that his first kind of slew of movies, kind of like his phase one, is going to be called Gods and Monsters. And he was going to kick things off theatrically with Superman. So just like the DCEU, we're going to kick off the world with Superman. Now, he did kind of lean into this new universe a little bit with Creature Commandos in animated form over on HBO Max. I wasn't the biggest fan of Creature Commandos. I think both you guys really liked it, though, right?
I actually have not yet seen it. Sorry, Peeps. I do plan to watch it, but I just haven't got around to it.
It's like a rolling joke. He purposely doesn't watch it just so every time I'll ask him about it, he's like, I'll get there.
But Peeps, you liked it, though, right?
I did like it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I thought. I was thinking though the animated stuff was still going to be connected somehow to the live action, but I guess it's
It
just
is.
voice actors are going to be.
Yeah, but the animation is too. Like everything that happened in Creature Commandos happened in this world, in this reiteration here.
Oh,
The carryover here, obviously being Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. So that is the same Rick Flag, even though in Creature Commandos he had white hair, and in Superman he's got black hair. So he had a dye job in between the Creature Commandos and Superman. But
I saw an interview with him where he said that he was filming Tulsa Kings and they couldn't like change his hairstyle. He's like, but we'll bring it back later with the all white hair. So apparently there's plans to make him all gray.
Like we don't have CGI, man. They could have just colored his fucking hair. Like, come on. Like it's easy.
A wig, like something like
yeah. Come on. That's the least of our issues. The hair, right. You know, come on. They could have figured that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Creature Commandos kind of the first kind of foray into it, but Superman is the official big theatrical kickoff. And then of course next month we got Peacemaker. Which is technically a season 2, but James Gunn also kind of walking that back, kind of pivoting a little bit that, hey, it's not really a season 2. It's kind of a relaunch. And I feel like I saw a new trailer for it, and it feels like they're kind of doing a multiverse jump. And that's how they're going to just explain it. Like, hey, look at this multiverse world. This world seems cooler. Let's stay here instead of over there. And then boom, he's in the new universe, right? So it definitely seems interesting. It looks like we're going to get Guy Gardner, we're going to get Hawkgirl, Maxwell Lord. They're all going to be in Peacemaker when it comes out next month. So it is in chronological order. So Peacemaker is supposed to help take this start of this story into its next kind of chapter. So, and then next year we have the Supergirl movie. They're working on a Clayface movie. So that's kind of the next couple things. And of course, they're still saying, you know, that Wonder Woman is being written right now. We have Lanterns, the TV show that is supposed to come out next year. That's going to be awesome. Kind of like a True Detective with space cops, right? With Kyle Chandler. And that's going to be definitely very interesting with Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. So yeah, the universe is going, man. They're also writing The Brave and the Bold right now, so we're gonna get our DCU Batman. It is not Robert Pattinson. Everybody needs to stop thinking that. It ain't gonna happen. They are separate universes. That is an Elseworld. We are getting a different Batman in the DCU. But let's go back, man. Superman. So we are here. Like I said, the old universe shut down. Let's just talk about kind of this for a second. Like what was your thoughts on the old DCEU kind of being just kind of kabunked out of nowhere and then saying, hey, we're going to start fresh. We're going to start over, even though we were so many years into another universe. The Henry Cavill kind of it all, because that was a hit for me. I'll be honest. I love Henry Cavill. He's my Superman. Love Man of Steel. Love all those movies. And I was so stoked that he was back. You know, that after credit scene in Black Adam got me stoked that he had returned. We hadn't seen him as Superman in years. And then to see him come out and say, I'm back and I'm going to do more stuff. And then to just basically look like he got fired online when James Gunn came on and said, I'm doing a whole new universe and nobody's really coming back. And it's just like, what? You know, like how does that work? Right.
It's like being broke up with over a text message.
Right? Yeah, basically. That's what it seemed like, you know, like no one wanted to take credit for that. Like Warner Brothers promised Henry Cavill a continuation and then went behind everybody's back and then renegotiated with Gunn and just said, do your own thing. And he said, I want to start everything fresh. So I don't want to take over any of the scraps from the other universe. So here we are again. You start to see it wrap up, right? They announced this guy, David Corn Sweat, as Superman. And I'm just like, who the fuck is this guy? I have no idea. I had never really seen him in anything.
Not my Superman.
Not my Superman. I'm like, I was one of those guys. I was like, man, give me Henry Cavill back. This is bullshit. I don't want a new Superman. They announced Rachel Brosnahan as Lois. I said, okay, cool. I'm good with that. I will gladly take that. You know, and all the other casting, man, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. As they started going, I was like, okay, this is really good casting, but still, like, oh man, like I don't know if I want a new Superman at this point. So let's just kind of stop there. Like I said, I want to go around kind of just thoughts on the old DCEU kind of shutting down, and then what was the thoughts of relaunching this thing all over again as Marvel is 37 films in and then DC's like, we got to scrap it and start all over again. So, Peeps, I don't know, where was your head at, like, and what was your thoughts there as that everything transitioned there?
I mean, as far as everything that was happening with the DCEU beforehand, and James Gunn made a comment about a piece that I'm about to say recently as well, but I just feel like it was a bit of a mess in terms of like the way that it felt. Like Flash had a different feeling, and Aquaman had a different feeling versus Superman, and then they all come together, and then even Wonder Woman, then they all come together for Justice League. It's like, I don't know, it's like it just didn't mesh well together. Where I feel like, at least for the most part, a lot of the Marvel films, when they came together, it kind of it felt better when they all came together, and especially the latter films in DC for me personally, though I'm not, there's a lot of them that were just okay. The fact that they're saying, hey, we're going to reboot this and start all over, like, I was completely okay with it. Every time I heard like a new person wasn't coming back, I was like, well, I know Henry Cavill's out, and it sounds like Jason Momoa wants to do something else. Like, at least Gal Gadot, nope. And so it was definitely a little, it kind of sucked a little bit. We got a bit attached to these actors, but at the same time, right, like in Gunn we trust in a way. Like, this man knows what he's doing, and like the way his Guardians of the Galaxy, like the way that he told that story in 3 different volumes, and how it all just kind of meshes well together, it's very beautiful. But yeah, I the only piece I would like, and I'll end here, the only thing I would have liked to see is some sort of something in the movie to like talk about a multiverse, or to talk about even the fact that we're going to have Elseworlds, like something to kind of, I don't know, show that yes, there's a Superman and there's a Wonder Woman, but here's another story, or somehow. I'm sure if I spent more than 30 seconds thinking about it, I can come up with a better way to maybe this is the DCEU, and now this is another story. I don't know. That's
pocket dimensions.
Something. I mean, how long has it been since we started like the DCEU, right? Like, well, the last one was Flash. That was what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
The last one was Aquaman 2.
Oh, okay.
Right. And that was, about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long. And then just now I know we know why they're doing it this way, and why he's kind of wiping the slate clean. But I guess it kind of would have been a little fun, a little neat little torch being passed over to the new, I don't know, make a short, make it a web short of looks like Flash did it again.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta rip the Band-Aid off.
Diminishing returns, right? Like, I mean, the DCEU was just starting to like drop, and then you can see people weren't going, and people were very dismissive on the DCEU when movies would come out. It was just starting to become an I don't care kind of thing. Yeah. And I think if you were new coming into it as a CEO of this new DC Studios, I don't think you really have any choice but to reboot and to just say, okay, I'm going to restart things in my vision and do it the right way, right? Obviously, 2 totally different visions, right? Like, Zack Snyder's was very grounded. It was what would happen if Superman and these gods like happened in the real world, whereas James Gunn's universe is very comic booky, right? It's very colorful, it's very vibrant, silly shit happens, because it's a world where a kaiju can be outside and nobody bats an eye because they've seen it before, and it's a totally different world. And so I get what he's going for. I can see why the reboot. Was I happy with it? Not super really, but at this point, yes. So I like what we're getting and where we're going. But Frigginz, I'll roll to you. Like, where were you at, like, in your head? Like, where were you at with the DCEU? Were you sad that it didn't get to continue and kind of live out its vision? Were you happy it was rebooting? And kind of what was your thoughts?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I want to tell you about Kale Your Idols, a new Hollywood podcast.
You might not know this, but the 70s are often considered the greatest decade in film history.
No, they know this. Everybody listening already knows about this.
Well, just in case they don't, this is the decade of The Godfather, Star Wars, Jaws, The Exorcist.
Dog Day Afternoon, Killer of Sheep, Shampoo. Are these movies over-discussed? Perhaps, but we're the only podcast that's doing a deep dive into this era.
Again, we're called Kale Your Idols. That's Kale as in Kael, named after the iconic film critic Pauline Kael.
Maybe these movies are extremely familiar to you.
Or maybe you haven't seen any 70s films.
Either way, check out Kale Your Idols.
Kael.
Are you sure we shouldn't change the name?
You know, unlike you, I hated Man of Steel when it first came out. I thought it was a hot pile of trash. But I will say that in time... Kick him out already? Oh, man. But that was my first topic, and I'm already out. But I will say I came around eventually, and I really grew to like it. Now when I watch Man of Steel, I'm like, man, there's a lot that I enjoy about it. And I think I had to follow my own vice that I give to peeps all the time. You probably heard us talk about this on many of these reviews. Is I had to see it as an alternate story. It's not the Superman that I necessarily thought I was going to get or wanted, but when I appreciated it as its own thing, then I was able to appreciate it more. And Henry Cavill, say what you will about any of the Snyder stuff, he was an amazing Superman. Mm-hmm. I thought he, had the exact physique for it, the look for it, the mannerisms, everything. And I think that, when he came back in Black Adam, it rejuvenated that excitement for me in the DCU. I kind of felt like I was also on that diminishing return aspect, and I could care less, kind of. I really liked, and I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this, but I really liked Batman. I thought, I know, Batman doesn't kill. This Batman kind of did that a little bit, but he was awesome, and Superman was awesome. And so I just... I had a little bit of sadness in losing some of the bigger characters like them in Wonder Woman. I was not missing anything with dropping a lot of the others like Flash or Aquaman or whatever. But they announced Corn Sweat coming in as the new Superman. Very sad that it wasn't Cavill returning. And then also kind of well, who the heck is this guy? It gave me very Star-Lord vibes. Who? And but... thinking about that, I thought, okay, when they announced Chris Pratt as being this, superhero character, everyone kind of did the same thing of saying well, what? And you didn't really know him from a whole lot. I mean, he had, some TV shows and a few smaller parts through movies here or there. But this was a big deal. And so I kind of thought maybe I'll, give this a chance and see where it goes. And then you see Twisters and you see Corn Sweat as this kind of douchebaggy guy, and I was like, "That's gonna be Superman." Right. I don't. I said
the same thing, man. The first time I watched Twisters, I was like, "This asshole."
Yep, exactly. But you got to give him a chance and see what Gunn can do, because we all have seen what he's done with the Marvel side of things, and so I did have the point of this film, hope. I had hope that it was gonna, bring some joy and comic book goodness to it. Although I will say, you talked about the cast members, and I started having some worries about cast members. I mean, again, Corn Sweat, I could see bringing in a new face. The Lois character, I didn't know her from TV shows or whatever she's from before, so I had no connection with her. And Lex, I mean, I have always wanted a visual live action version of Lex to match the animated series, where he's this big towering scary individual. The dude walks in a room and you are scared, you are terrified that he will either ruin you financially, or he might just ruin you physically and destroy you. I was a little bummed that we went back to this, and I had fear that it was going to be this Jesse Eisenberg kind of eccentric, not scary version of Lex. So that's kind of where I was sitting before I saw the trailer. And of course, after the trailer, my opinions changed, but that was all what was going through my head before that.
Okay. So we fast forward, we get a couple trailers, and we are here. We are finally here. And again, guys, I'm going to, last warning, spoilers as we get into it here. So don't go crying that, why'd you say that? Why'd you say that name? because we're talking spoilers. All right. As we get into Superman. So as we always do, we kind of go around the horn first, just kind of overall thoughts, right? Went in opening night when we saw it, ready to go. Fred's got an interesting story he'll get into of his journey. Luckily I got the early screening through the Amazon Prime stuff that happened on Tuesday before the Friday when it opened, and got to see it. I mean, like I said, my most anticipated movie of the year, so being able to see it 3 days early was just Christmas came early, right? Took the fam, took the wife, took the daughter, went with a couple friends, and we watched it and saw it in IMAX, which that's my preferred, way to see things, especially like this. And that start of that movie kind of hits, and I'm taken away, man. Like, I'm just kind of in it. I'm zoned in, I'm locked in. And since we're just talking overall thoughts, I'm not going to get into any specifics, but when it ended, I had a ginormous smile on my face. I was super happy. I was thrilled. My daughter looked at me and was like, that was great. And like, when the first trailer came out, she was kind of like, I tried to show her Man of Steel, but for her being younger, it's a very dark movie. It's slow at times. Like, it builds, and it didn't really hold her attention. Whereas this one here, she was like, wow, like, that was cool. And my wife, who's super, super picky with movies, was like, 5 stars. That was great. I loved it. Everybody was clapping at the end. It was such a cool experience. Obviously, it felt a little tainted just because whenever you go to like a fan screening like that, where it's early, they're going to be the diehard people, right? They're going to be the people that are like us, that are just like, oh, I can't wait to see this thing. So it's a little bit more of a tainted kind of crowd. But it's such a cool experience. It's such a cool thing to be in there with other people that share that excitement. Like, every other person had a Superman shirt on when I walked in the theater. It was crazy how many S's I saw. Like, it was so cool. Like, that was something that you don't see super often. I remember, just like, there's only a couple movies I can remember walking into the theater and being like, everybody's here for this movie, right? It was so cool to see. It was very exciting. And yeah, I walked out with a smile on my face. The movie stuck with me for those couple days, and I was just counting down to like, when can I go see this again? And then I went again on Friday and saw it in 3D, which was really cool as well. It didn't pop as much for me as I had hoped, because James Gunn was just ranting about the 3D conversion and was like, that's the way, man. You got to see it in 3D. It's so cool. The conversion came out so cool. And yeah, there's moments, but overall, it's pretty typical 3D. It wasn't no Avatar, I'll tell you that. But it was still great to see the movie again a second time. I walked away with catching things that I didn't catch the first time. I was able to soak it in differently. That's always the cool thing when you see it a second time, especially early on, is you go in that first time with such expectations and such a vision in your head of what you're going to get. And then when you're watching it the second time, you just get to enjoy it for what it is. And it just unravels, and you really soak it in on a different level. So I loved it. I'll probably go see it a third time because, I'll have to find another format, maybe, 4DX or D-Box or something, we'll go do it up. But overall thoughts, just super, super thrilled and happy that he did it, man, that James Gunn did it and nailed it just like we pretty much thought he would. So Peeps, what about you? You went into it a couple days after us, so we were waiting to see what the outcome would be. What was your overall thoughts?
Yeah, and unfortunately, though my theater was crowded, I didn't feel the energy in my theater like I have with some of the, like Deadpool, Wolverine, or some of the other Marvel movies. But like I said, it was pretty crowded and definitely had a lot of folks there. Yeah, I mean, I will say, through and through, it was definitely a good time. I really enjoyed it, and we'll get to the ratings and all that stuff later. But I will say this movie confirmed, and here comes the tomatoes. I'm ready. But this movie confirmed how much of a Superman fan I am not. And this movie, I think, was a perfect Superman movie. It is him. And everybody waiting for a Superman film. Like Superman is that superhero when we used to put on our capes and run outside and I don't know, whatever we would do with that power, beat up your little brother. I don't know what you did with your cape, but you know, he is that guy. And I don't know, man. I'm not that big into Superman. But this movie luckily didn't just give us Superman. Like there was plenty of other characters that we're going to be seeing again, you know, in the Green Lantern show. And I mean, after what everyone's talking about Mr. Terrific, like we better get a motherfucking Mr. Terrific spinoff or something. So yeah, I don't know. It was a great time. I recommend all families, you know, definitely go check out this movie. I'm like, hey kids, let's go. My daughter's like, you know, I'm good. And my son is like, I think I'm good. I'm like, no, I think y'all need to go. So I'm gonna, you know,
you drag their asses. Exactly.
Yeah.
This ain't up to y'all.
And I think they're the same as me. They're like, but Superman though, Dad? Like if there's anybody, like, can Superman. We? Yeah. I was the villain kid, and Frigginz knows this. I was the one rooting for Godzilla. I was the one rooting for the the devil in Legend. You know,
Legend.
I was. So yeah, but anyways, like I said though, amazing movie though. Like from start to end, and it's not an origin story, you know, and that's something you should also know if you're still staying here and you haven't seen. It's not an origin story, and that's great. They're
refreshing.
Yes, yeah. And Superman, like the story of Superman isn't that complex that you even really need an origin story. Like he landed. And now he decided to fight crime. Like all that stuff in between can be filled in I don't know, flashbacks in other movies, but we don't need to know how he first discovered his powers. We're good. So yeah, man. Overall, just a really good time. You know, James Gunn-esque song / fighting montages are incredible. Yeah, it's really good, man.
There you go, Frigginz.
Yeah,
your
like
journey.
You said.
With this film.
I really did have a journey. I mean, it was kind of interesting. I was very excited because I also was able to get the Tuesday special screening. So super pumped. Unfortunately for me, that happened to be a week where I had some work emergency stuff. And I got stuck on like this extra duty. And I was expecting there's a high probability that I was going to have some work emergencies after 9 o'clock. But luckily for me, the new showing was scheduled for 7 o'clock, and I knew this was a 2-hour movie, so I'm thinking this is perfect. It starts at 7, it's out at 9, I'm good to go. We sit in the theater, and the workers come out at 7:05, and they're like, yeah, your screening has a corrupt file, and we don't even know if it's going to work. We're like, what? Yeah, and so everybody was so mad and disappointed. And like, you know, it's not their fault. You can't blame them, like whatever. And they were trying. They're like, we're going to reboot the project. They had to reboot the entire projector to see if the whole thing would work. They said they tried it through the day. It was working fine. So they do this reboot and they're like, you can sit and wait. It could take an hour. It could take an hour and a half. We don't know. And you can sit and wait or you can leave and we'll refund you. They ended up giving us free passes and free drinks and free popcorn, which was nice. But it didn't get started until 8 o'clock. So I'm sorry, 8:30. So it was an hour and a half after the original start time.
You were hanging out in there that whole time?
We just hung out because we were like, it was me and Steve. We were like, we're gonna figure this out.
Fix that shit.
Fix that shit. Exactly. We're like, we're writing this thing through. So here I am, fingers crossed that I won't have any issues. And sure as shit, I got like my first issue pop up at like 9:30. So it's like an hour or maybe a little more than an hour in. You know, as we get into the spoilers, I'll tell you what scene it cut out at. But I missed almost 30 minutes of the movie because of this issue that had popped up. And so in this like combination of not like anticipating work and then the disappointment of the time being pushed back and the possibility of not playing and then the interruption, you know, I didn't really have that great of an experience the first go. When I walked out of the theater, I was a little disappointed. I felt like it didn't hit right. I was expecting more because the teaser trailer made me like tear up, like literally. And
Me too.
and so I was just kind of like, man, and like I thought I was gonna come out of here thinking this is a 5, and I'm like, like I'm sitting like a little lower than I expected, and then. But missing a huge chunk of the film. I mean, there was some key elements that I missed. So luckily, I had a.
I told you, man. I told you when you
Yeah.
when you told me like I don't know. I was like, dude, your experience was all fucked up. You had to wait
You
an
really
hour and a
did.
half. You missed the fucking chunk of the film. I'm like, come on, wait till you see it again, then we'll talk.
And also like what Peeps was saying, Superman's not my guy. Like I'm Batman all the way. Like Batman's my dude. And so I didn't know if it was some of that too, but. Luckily, I had tickets for Friday already in IMAX, so I got to go check it out IMAX. And holy crap, the experience was totally different. I mean, from the get-go, I felt so much more invested. I felt so much more into it. I got lost in the world. When I saw the pieces I missed, I was like, I missed a lot. and then like, it just wraps so many of the details up. I just had the giddy experience. Like the first time, no emotion. I wasn't teared up. I was just too focused on work stuff. This time I like got watery eyes, and I so much more enjoyed it. Like a million times more the second time. And I think that what you talked about, Don, about losing some of those expectations that we set for ourselves, especially big comic fans, it didn't do this and I would have done this. And Peeps, you like doing this a lot. Like I would have had him go this way and that way.
I really do.
And when you take that out, you already know you're not getting those things. Sometimes, like Don, you mentioned, you can just really see it for what it is and go on the ride. And that really changed the experience. So if you've only seen it once and you're not like a huge fan or just kind of on that fence, like it was good but not great, highly, highly encouraged to watch it again because I think it will give you another emotion.
Mm-hmm. Well said. So it looks like we all enjoyed it, man. So let's get into this movie. We start and like Peeps was saying, this is not an origin story. We don't go into it with an origin story. We are into this world right at the beginning. We get kind of like a little bit of like a Star Wars kind of scroll, right? Like just basically saying, 300 years ago, like metahumans showed up, and then 30 years ago, Superman showed up, right? Like a baby crash landed, adopted by some farmers. Boom, done, right? And then 3 years ago, Superman came out to the world. So now he's a Superman that has been doing this for 3 years already, right? And then, and then it goes to 3 minutes. 3 minutes ago, he lost his first fight, right? And that's where, like, boom, crash into the snow, where you saw in the trailer, right? Can't breathe, calls Crypto, goes to the fortress, gets healed up. What I really loved from a marketing perspective, and I know, these two over here are definitely guys that are like, I only watched the one trailer and never watched nothing else again.
Heck yeah.
What they did with this movie is 90% of what we saw was the first half hour of the movie.
Yep.
Like there's so much from the rest of this movie that was never even touched and shown. Like literally, like all the big moments are in this first part of the movie in the first 30 minutes, which was really cool, man. Like because that's such a big scene in the trailer, and then they released that scene online, and then I think it was before Minecraft as like an exclusive thing where basically you could see that opening full scene where Crypto grabs him, brings him into the fortress, gets healed by the sun. Like that was all that was a theatrical sneak peek, and that's literally the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So he has that fight with the Hammer of Baravia, and then we find out that he went into this country, stopped this war. That's where you see in the other trailer where he's arguing with Lois about, people were going to die. And I went in, I stopped it. It shouldn't be a big deal, right? But from a politics standpoint, you didn't talk to the president. You didn't get permission. You just went and did this, right? And in Superman's world, he's like, hey, I just went to go do good. That's all that mattered to me was saving lives, We meet the Justice Gang. We meet Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, who work for Maxwell Lord. So they're kind of corporate superheroes that come in to try to save the day. yeah, and then we just have this battle with Lex, man, where Lex creates Ultraman, who is this guy that's just as strong as Superman, is trying to take him out. But you can see something's up with it because they got to control him with these like video game kind of codes, 1A, 1A, 12B, just to do different fighting moves. So it always leaves this kind of question in the back of your mind, like, what's going on with this guy? Like, why are we controlling him like this? And we find out it's Ultraman behind the Hammer of Baravia suit. Obviously, Lex hates Superman, tries to get him arrested, tries to just put him away in this pocket dimension. And then, Lois and Mr. Terrific go get him. And we basically come back to try to save the day. But there's a big rift into our world, into Metropolis, that Lex has started that's kind of ripping into the world, basically into a black hole. And Lex don't give a fuck as long as Superman's taken out. So we're kind of just all over the place. We're right into it as we go. So now as we kind of break it down, we always kind of like to get the bad out the way first. What didn't we like? What didn't really work? What didn't really gel for us? And I had to really sit on this for a minute because obviously coming out with it being such a high, being a movie I really, really enjoyed, it's hard sometimes to sit and nitpick and say, like, what are the things I really, didn't like? So I got a couple things. Number one, I'm going to say, and this is something I've seen a lot of people say, and I was kind of worried about this because James Gunn came out flat out said this, and I was like, I don't know if I like that. That Superman is powered down. He is still strong. He's still pretty badass, but he is weaker than we've ever seen him before in this movie. James Gunn flat out a couple weeks ago in an interview said, yes, he's not ultra powerful like he is in the comic books in my world, right? He can't punch a hole into a planet. Like, he's still building upon his powers, but he still is not, he's strong. He's still Superman. He's just powered down a little bit. And I saw that a lot in this movie, and it bugged me being a Superman guy, being someone that really likes the ultimate powerful guy that's hard to put down. He was put down pretty easily a lot of times in this movie, and that bugged me. So I didn't like the power down kind of angle of it. I would have liked to have seen him kick more ass rather than his ass getting kicked. In the grand scheme of things, I don't mind the way they kind of built it up through the story. So it didn't like ruin the movie for me, but being a Superman guy again, like, I wanted to see him do more. Like, when he healed in the beginning and went back for that second round fight with the Hammer, he should have whooped some serious ass to an extent, right? Even if he kind of lost the fight at the end, I would have been okay. But it was like he went back and just got his ass handed to him again, and then he threw him into the ground and then was like, I'll be back. And then the guy flew off, and then that was it. Like, and then he was just like, okay, I guess that fight's over. And it's like, dude, you just got your ass kicked again. And that bugged me. That bugged me a lot that, and I know they even went out of their way to say, oh, you're only healed to 80%. You should stay and get more sun, but he had to get back to the fight. It still bugged me that he seemed to get his ass kicked a lot, even, especially with Ultraman. I know we found out Ultraman was a clone and it was another version of him. For being a dumbass clone, he still put up a serious fight that he couldn't really overcome. I wish the movie was a little bit longer. This was one of the movies that, like, usually we're getting 2.5 to 3 hours, and we're like, oh man, didn't need to be that long. They should have shaved 20 minutes off, 15 minutes off. This movie's barely 2 hours, and I feel like for as much as we're jam packing in here, and for a 2-hour runtime, it's a lot, man. Like, I feel like some scenes didn't get to breathe because we were just on to the next thing. I feel like we could have had more time with characters. We could have had another couple fights. We could have had, Superman just stopping a couple other little crimes that he could have just came in, swooped in, and actually been the badass, stopping the bank robbery or whatever the case may be, just to give us a little bit more time in this world. I just didn't like the 2-hour runtime. I just thought it was too short for what we were trying to do. I was not a fan of the parents twist with Jor-El. And I again get what they were kind of going for, but for me, I just didn't like it. I just didn't like making his parents, his birth parents, as much as he looked up to them, and that message meant so much to him, to have the second half of the message be like rule over this world and and take all the women, and just like it was very weird and it was very out of place.
I didn't want to believe it for most of the movie. Like, that's gotta be fake.
I still don't want to believe it, but they went out of their way to basically be like, "Oh, this is true."
Even Mr. Terrific was like, "This is true," but I'm like, "But is it though?
Like, is it? Yeah. I'm like,
once
the
he said it
engineer
was true,
is pretty crazy. She couldn't have manipulated that at all. It bugged me. I just didn't like that, because I mean, Jor-El is such a big character and such a piece of, Kal-El, just like learning who he is and what the world means and how his people were, and to just have that last message just be like, oh yeah, take all the women, your harem, and like and rule over them with an iron fist. It was just like, what the fuck? Like, I just didn't care for it at all. I didn't like how fast the world turned on him too. Like, that video played and everybody was like, I hate you. Like, immediately, like that little girl he saved, she looked at him like, fuck you, and like walked off. And I'm like, what? like nobody is like, oh, this guy did a lot of good in the last 3 years.
I'm gonna hit him in the head with a can. Why?
Yeah.
If he's here to rule the world now, why are we
it's not a good idea.
Yeah. He hadn't done nothing to deserve that. It just, everybody turns so damn fast. So that's probably my biggest gripe with the film. And lastly, just my little gripe is just, I would have liked to have seen more Clark. Clark is literally in one scene in this movie. Really, the Clark Kent glasses is in one scene, and that's it. Like, you see him a couple times with Lois, like out of character with not glasses on, but not Superman. But actual like glasses Clark Kent at the Daily Planet.
Hypno glasses Clark Kent.
Huh?
Hypno glasses Clark Kent.
Yes, hypno glasses. I love hypno glasses. So I just, like Clark's a big part of him, and like it was kind of weird. I don't mind that they spent most of the time with him as Superman, because most of the time in these kind of movies we get too much of the alter ego and not enough of the hero. Yeah. So it was kind of cool to see as much Superman as we did. I just would have liked a little bit more. Maybe if the movie was a little bit longer, like I talked about, we could have got another scene with Clark. Maybe doing some reporting with Lois. That would have been fun to have. So, yeah. So that's like I said, I'm gonna claim nitpicks here, just as really digging into it, of the things that I would have done a little bit differently if I was in charge of this movie here. So, Peeps, you love to hate. So what do you got on this one here that didn't vibe with you?
Before you go, let me just say that when you brought up the hypno glasses, I thought Peeps is Guy Gardner. Like, you're the Guy Gardner of the group. Like, you're bringing, like, you would be the guy that's like, hey, but did he tell you about those cool glasses?
Yeah.
So Superman's Clark Kent, right?
Yeah. It's awesome. Alrighty. Dislikes with the movie, right? And like DX said, I think my dislikes are very nitpicky. But it is what it is. Like you said, I think the very first thing I had is I could not stand how quick everybody turned on him. And not only how quick everybody turned on him, but how much he didn't really try to defend himself. Like, I barely heard, nah, like, me, I'm not trying to, I'm not going to. And then he got angry at, Green Lantern when he got in his face about it. Like, I don't know, man. Like, whatever. It is what it is. But I'm just like, I feel like it was me like, nah, y'all, like, me. Hey, hot dog stand guy. Like we cool still, right? I don't know. Anyways, but that bothered me. I thought that Superman, as I was saying before, like, not my kind of hero. And he has like this childlike mindset where I'm just going to stop the bad guys and I'm going to do what's right because it's the right thing to do. And it's very, Injustice style. That's like, well, just because you think it's the right thing to do, that might not mean everyone else thinks it's the right thing to do. But like, and then he goes into like, killing is wrong. And it was very, like I said, it was very childlike. I liked the scene between him and Lois, where Lois is kind of like breaking it down to him as to why it's a bad idea. But I've heard other folks say that they didn't like that conversation, but I think it was a good, like,
You talking about the interview?
Yes, the interview. Yeah.
Oh, I love that scene.
Yeah, I loved it too. I thought it was great. And it was literally like, yeah, you can't just do what you feel like you want to do. Yeah,
I think I can.
It was way too long. Let me just tell you that right now.
You can't say that,
come on.
Ron. No, I liked it. And I don't know. It was a good way to show the rapport between the two of them. And I really liked those two as a couple. And I think that scene kind of helped with that for me. So I thought Luthor was great. Best version of Lex Luthor that I've seen in live action. But I will say, though, I think the thing that bothered me, and I'm sure somebody was like, but that's how he is in the comics. Like, if Lex Luthor is so willing to destroy Superman or get one over on Superman that he's okay with the world coming to an end, I feel like your goals aren't really... I just feel like Lex Luthor, isn't he the guy that kind of like will help the superheroes out if they're failing to stop something from destroying the planet? Like, if something's going to destroy the planet, he's not just going to let that happen. He's going to probably want to stop it himself. And if that means I got to ally with these douchebags and maybe I can do something to hurt them in the meantime, cool. But I just don't think he's okay with the world coming to an end. Like
well, he said at one point, like, I'll stop it when it gets close to a city I care about.
Right. And that's it.
There's a hole in the planet.
But he was so pompous, he thought he was in full control and that he could make it end at any point in time.
There's a hole in the planet. Maybe he could. I don't know. But you're right. I mean, I guess you just had to put in the code and it just closes like a wound.
Vacuum seals up.
Yeah. He knew.
Yeah, you're right. Just sucks.
Up, down, left, right. A, B, start.
All those poor fish. But yeah. With his plan and the way that he was defeated in the end, Luthor really only had 10 drones that were flying within a range of 5 feet from clone Superman. Like, really? You didn't have like a satellite zooming in, or you didn't have, I don't know, a drone from like miles away zooming in or anything? They all had to be within like 5 feet so that Crypto could.
Yes, exactly.
Could chomp them off.
You just answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for
exactly
a movie.
Why.
It's great for a movie, but just not great for
exactly
evil genius. I don't know. What is it? 1A. Yeah. But yeah, I honestly, like, I guess maybe I would have liked, and here's what Frigginz was saying. What I would have liked that they didn't have. So nitpicky, like, I guess if you're going to put me in this world of established superheroes, I don't know why I felt like I was going to get more Easter eggs than just the 3 that we saw. Like something on the screen of like something else going on somewhere, like talking about the Atlantic Ocean or talking about Themyscira. And I know James Gunn mentioned that same reason why he doesn't want to do end credits scenes connecting other threads is because he doesn't want to write himself into a corner. He doesn't want to set something up that, maybe we should do that a little bit later on or whatever. But like you're that guy. Like, why don't you do that? Like, make that the next movie.
Yeah. If anybody knows what it's going to, it's him. So,
exactly. Like, you're that guy. Like, you can write that into something else. I don't know.
They very subtly hit, just as a heads up, there was a few very tiny hidden, it's a stretch to call them a connection to other things, but so the first and most obvious one is one of the street signs was to Gotham City, right?
Yeah.
But then there's another one is, I want to say it was when the Hammer of Baravia was lasering into the building. One of the staff people that were inside that building on the projector, it was what it looked like is they were doing a pitch for a new product, and that product was Coco Choco. I can't remember the term, but it's the cookies that Martian Manhunter likes. It's basically the Oreos that Martian Manhunter eats. So you have that tie into Martian Manhunter with the Choco Coco cookie or whatever the heck they're called. So there was that little thing. Then the Gotham City thing, and Engineer is actually in the comics a character that's connected to the Authority, which has been
Who's
announced
Engineer?
as one of the Engineer. She's the bad guy with the blade
She's
hands.
the girl that could change into the saws. And
she's
doing
still
all that.
breathing. We know that. So
She's still breathing, and she's a character in the Authority.
The
And
Authority.
James Gunn has come out and said that Authority is going to be released at a later time. So there's a couple little tie-ins there. I think there was another one that I saw somebody talk about, but I can't remember.
Well, I
what it
shared
is,
on
but-
our chat. There was the mural at the Hall of Justice that
Right.
shows all the old school
society.
heroes that were there beforehand. You know, like
Sure,
Dr. Fate
sure.
and the Jay Garrick Flash and Black Cat. You know, like just the older school kind of heroes that were a part of that, which is actually a really cool kind of Easter egg
Yeah.
there.
And they're like what, 3 Guardians that were the voices of the robots or something like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Michael Rooker was one.
Palm was
one.
and
Obviously, Bradley Cooper is dad.
Bradley Cooper,
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, though, I mean, me not being that big of a Superman fan, like that's really my only like nitpick. Like he's just,
Okay,
Cool.
Frigginz, what didn't
Well-
you care for?
I struggled with a few different things. First off, I will say I do agree with you, Don, about the bad guy parents. I think we're all in agreement on that. Like wasn't necessarily like the best decision. It's definitely different, and a theme that James Gunn seems to have, because he made Star-Lord's dad be a bad guy, and now he's making Superman's dad be a bad guy. So I'm wondering if he's like working out some like familial issues there.
Right.
But
Why couldn't it have been a doctored message just to fuck with them? You know what
that's
I mean?
it.
And
That's
then-
it. Yeah.
And by the end of the movie, Gary is like, "Hello, Superman. I actually retrieved the real message," and it's like, "We love you, Clark."
I will say though, like, sorry, Friggins, to jump in your spiel, but like,
bring it.
I liked that. I thought it was different, and I loved that moment. That like the moment that kind of gave me the feels at the very end when he's like, "Oh, he play that that video of his parents. It soothes him," and I was like, "What?" And then it shows the old home videos of him growing up with the mom, pa, Kent. Like that was beautiful. I loved that. Like that's his parents, and like these people that I've never met that want me to do some stuff that I don't want to do. Like and it's a very beautiful adoption story as well, I think. Yeah. I like that. I'm okay with it, even though I was in denial, still kind of, but yeah, I'm okay with it.
As it wraps up, it totally makes sense. It's just it was so jarring from what we're so used to. So that was a little off. Everything else you said, Don, I pretty much liked. But I will say my biggest gripe was probably the cast. I had a lot of issues with some of the cast members. As I talked about, like the Lex thing is my concern. I do agree that Holt did great. I do think he created this very interesting version of Lex. But he still falls in this like weird eccentric like billionaire dude, and kind of getting outside of like that Lex from the animated Superman that I grew up with, and that was my favorite Lex. So again, that's a me thing. That's again, Holt did excellent. But some of the other cast members bother me, like even the engineer I didn't really like that much. Eve, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, but like I know she ended up being a big point in the film with taking the selfies and of the information in the background, but I could not stand like every scene she was in. I was like, it was like nails on a chalkboard to me.
That was the point.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny.
It's
I
Eve
could not.
Tessmacher. That is the character.
I know. I just watched Superman from the 70s, and so I know I get it, but like it was a struggle to get through for me. The Barovia president, I know it was on purpose, but I could not stand any. Like he was so just horrible to look at, and I'm glad that Hawk Girl took care of him. And I also agree with you, Don, on that. You were saying like the story that makes the world hate Superman. We just had that in Batman vs Superman. I don't think we needed that again, especially for the first time that we're seeing Superman. This is about bringing him to our light and getting us to love Superman character. And they did it in a good way, where there's no like trickery for the audience. saw what Lex was doing the whole time, but I don't need that story over and over and over, and I just hope that they don't go that route anymore going forward. You talked about the interview being a good part. I struggled with the interview so much. I mean, if you think about it, I don't have a stop clock, but I want to say it's a safe bet to say that was between 12 and 15 minute long. It's a huge chunk.
It was not that
Check
long.
it out. I bet you it was like at least 12 minutes.
It's like 5 minutes, man.
I'll give it 10 at most. It's got to be on the internet. It felt like a quarter of the damn movie. Like, it took so long. I think they could have trimmed that piece up and made the same point a little easier. I literally, like, the first watch, and again, this is before all the drama started happening with my watch, other than being late. And I was like, what are we doing?
12 minutes.
Like, it was 12 minutes. Thank you. 15 minutes is a quarter of the whole movie? Or no.
What?
A quarter of the hour. Okay, so it's like one. I can't math, but that's a huge chunk. That's a huge chunk of a movie. Think about it. Like, most scenes. Oh, no, you guys are crazy. But anyway, I couldn't stand that scene.
And I feel like that scene, it gave us a lot of information. It told us like what happened with the Superman attacking, and then the differences between the two.
We didn't see him stop it.
Exactly. And then they always show don't tell, but like I feel like that scene, it really gave us tons of info about them as a couple, and I think it was funny too. It's like, is that you can't say that? That's like, you have to say off the.
I totally just. I think it went too long. It went too long. There were too many jokes in there. My biggest
beef with that scene was.
What's that?
Wasn't
that
long.
No one ate the breakfast he was cooking.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
he was making breakfast for dinner.
You're right.
They got in a fight. He left, and she started doing the dishes immediately. So where did all that food go? That's my biggest.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
She didn't even eat the
bacon. She would have been getting down on that bacon.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that scene really drove me nuts. And I'll close, and you guys are probably gonna hate me for this, and probably the rest of the world listening. But I could not stand the parents.
Oh,
the kids.
Bro.
Dude, I could not stand the kids. I mean, look at, they could not have gotten like, so I follow this guy who's from Kansas, and he's like, no one from Kansas talks like that. That's like Southern accents. I don't understand how they found, I understand what he was going for, but for me, it just did not work at all.
He wanted character actors that seemed like they were right off the farm, and that's exactly what they were.
It was pushed too far, and that was a super Southern farm, not a Kansas farm. And also, these are big characters for this character. Like, look at what we had before. We had Kevin Costner and Diane Lane. Those are amazing actors. They make they make you feel something when you just see them on screen. He lasted
like 30 seconds before he died.
But he makes a big impact with just his presence. It's his presence. And like, I could not care less of these, and I feel bad saying that, but like, it just felt like they did not.
Because you're wrong. It's okay.
They did not do well. Like,
they were just regular. Dad talking to Clark outside is so emotional. It hits all the marks. He's so proud of Clark for what he's done, and that's when Clark's at his worst, because everything just happened with the message and everything, and he told him how proud he was, and just, oh man, that scene choked me up both times I saw the movie. Like, it's so good.
And I love that the dad was the emotional one. It's like, there he goes again. And it's like,
he's a big mush.
Mush. Come on. Like, I mean, I'm seriously.
And he would put like Demi Moore and Kurt Russell as the grandparents.
Exactly.
Like,
perfect.
Why do you need
He's used Kurt Russell before. Why not? I couldn't. I did not buy it. I'm sorry. I did not buy in. The whole time I'm just sitting there like, okay, I see what he's trying to do. And I get that, but it just didn't work for me. So those were some of my biggest complaints. But yeah, I mean, I think overall the Superman being hated by the world is the worst part. We I will talk a little bit about Ultraman as we roll into the good, but like, you know, also to jump right away into an Ultraman being the bad guy seemed like an interesting choice to start it off as well. I know we need to give him somebody to fight, but that's like on his level. But you know, Ultraman is you know,
I'm
in the comics.
so glad they didn't do like Kryptonite Man or something like that. I'm sick of it always being he loses to something of Kryptonite nature. Like he just loses a fight, and I love that.
I mean, they have Bizarro. You have like other strong villains that they could, even like the Parasite guy. I think his name is a Parasite. And like you just
Mongol.
I was just really shocked about that with Ultraman. I mean, that's a character who's from like an alternate universe. You're talking about multiverses, right? And you know, they tweaked it up a little bit by making him a clone instead, which is also the Superboy story, or one of the Superboy stories. So interesting that they're kind of using that Lex clone already. This is this weird amalgamation of Superboy and Ultraman. So interesting choice there. I didn't know that I loved it, but like all in all, like Ultraman's a character that I don't really care about, so it was fine if they got rid of him in the first movie.
It should have been Henry Cavill when he took the mask.
That would have been cool. That would have been really cool. There's your tie-in, peeps.
Exactly.
Yes.
He cloned him, and that's just how the clone came out, man. It is another Superman.
Or they got him from the universe where he took over, like Ultraman takes over. Yes.
There you go. See? They had it right there, man. James,
So
you had it.
Close.
All right. Well, let's switch on gears. We're going to get over to what we love, the standout things that really stuck with us, the things we really appreciated. And it's funny because
it's fun.
Exactly. You know, Frigginz just kind of ripped a lot of the cast, and I'm going to start right off with the cast. I thought everybody was awesome. I thought, you know, James Gunn always has a knack for casting and knocks it out the park, and I think he did it here. With this movie, and I want to start right off with David Cornsweet because again, at the beginning of this podcast, I was telling y'all I'm a Henry Cavill guy. I'm like, I don't want another Superman. Henry Cavill's my dude. I watched this movie and I was like, fuck, David's awesome. Like, you know, so I gotta give props where props are due. David Cornsweet was Superman. He was Superman through and through. I loved his portrayal. I loved his Clark. That's why I wanted more of it. I just liked the way he played it. I liked the way he just, you know, kindness is punk rock, and just the way he came across with everyone in this movie was so Superman. And he just had this, like, you just felt the line delivery that he gave in a lot of the scenes, you know. One scene that really stands out to me is like when he's bummed out after the message and he talks to Lois, and that imp is outside, like floating, and the Justice Gang's fighting it, right? And he goes out to leave, and she says, "Are you going to go help them fight that thing?" And he says, "No, I need to go find my dog." And she's like, "Oh, really?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know, like," he's like, "It's my dog, and not even a good one at that, but he's probably alone and he's probably scared." And
I was crying, dude.
Oh my God, dude. I was like, fuck. I was like, what line delivery there that it just hits for a fucking dog. Like just the way that he's probably alone. He's probably scared. And I have to go save him. I have to find him, you know? And I love that. And it wasn't even his dog. Like, he was foster sitting for this dog. And he felt such emotion to go find the dog. David just killed it. And I just really want to start there, that like he won me over. And with a couple more iterations of him in this universe, you know, this might be the new Superman. Like, I'm sorry, Henry, I love you, but you know, dude, like he's killing it, man. He was Superman through and through. Rachel Brosnahan, like, she is Lois. Like, she was so perfect as Lois. I knew it from when they casted her. I haven't even seen all that much with her. My wife watched her show. She was on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Prime, and that was her show, and my wife loved her and always spoke highly of her. And just from the casting point, just looking at her, you're like, that's fucking Lois Lane. And then like in the movie, she's fantastic. And like you said, the chemistry with David is off the charts. Just her and the journalism points of the movie is off the charts. Her with Perry, her putting everything together. She is Lois Lane. She knocked it out the park. Nicholas Hoult, again, I love Nicholas Hoult. I mean, he's always solid in everything he does. And I thought he was an amazing Lex. I mean, he's the hater of the year when it all comes down to it. That is the biggest hater ever right there, you know? So I like the way he played it. He was maniacal. He was crazy. And it worked, man. It worked. And I can't wait to see where he goes kind of next. And then you got the Justice Gang, man, right? Like Guy Gardner. Like, we knew Nathan Fillion would probably do a pretty damn good job with Guy Gardner.
He always does.
And he killed it. He killed it. And I can't wait to see that Guy Gardner on that Lantern show. Like, I don't know how much he's going to be involved in that show. It's probably not much. But when he is, oh my God, I'm so excited to see how he is going to interact with Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. Because they're like serious and they're doing the real Green Lantern shit. And he's over here, corporate Green Lantern, just, you know, trying to get exposure and whatever.
Justice Gang. Yep.
I can't wait to see how that plays out. That's going to be
they clapping.
Yeah, that's going to be really awesome. You know, we talked about him already, Mr. Terrific, man, dude. Eddie Gathegi knocked it out the park. Every single scene of Mr. Terrific is off the chain. Yeah, his scene with Lois when he's fighting all the guards, very Yondu-esque from Guardians 2. That scene is exactly the same, but it works, man. You got the needle drop. He's got all the T-spheres going around doing their thing, just like Yondu with his arrow when they escape the prison in part 2. It is awesome. It is such a cool thing. He's so cool in that character. The floating chair and just working on everything and just, yes, it was just so good, man. I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific.
Yeah,
like such a great line.
Just killed it. James Gunn is looking at a possible spin-off thing for him on HBO Max, which would be amazing. And can't wait to see it. Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl, good. Wish we would have had some more because I don't know much about her, right? Where the hell she come from? Which version of Hawkgirl is she even? Because there's multiple Hawkgirls and they don't even ever call her by her name. So I'm like, I don't even really know which version she is. So, but I like her. She's an amazing actress. I wish she would have had a chance to do more. But what they did do with her, it was cool. Jimmy Olsen is awesome. Just like I said, I thought the casting was great. Perry, yes, Tessmacher, she's annoying, but that's the point. That is the point. I know. You know, so no, I thought they killed it with the cast. So that's my biggest takeaway. Mr. Terrific, we talked about. Mm-hmm. I love the world, man. I love the world. I am so appreciative of a comic book world. We touched on it earlier. All these comic book movies, previous DC, Marvel, even to an extent, is everything's got to be so grounded, right? Christopher Nolan's grounded. The new Batman, grounded. Like, everything's got to be so grounded and takes place in the real world. I'm happy to get back to just a fucking comic book movie. Like, shit's happening. We got kaiju. We got metahumans. We got aliens. We got all kinds of shit. Cool, man. Science, like powers, like this is awesome. This is what I want. It's refreshing right now because we haven't had just a straight up comic booky world in so long. And I really appreciate that. The action, the pacing, the fight scenes are cool as hell. Crypto off the chain. I remember being a little bit hesitant when they were like, Crypto's going to be in this movie. And I was like, really, Crypto? But he works. He works in this movie. It worked in context. Every scene they utilized him in, he was great. I love that Mr. Terrific was so thrown off by, like, this is a dog in a cape. Like, you know, so later on when he's like, you had to bring the goddamn dog. And he's like, yeah. It just, everything worked with Crypto, being able to, I know Peeps was talking about it, but being able to be like, fetch the toys, you know, and then him taking out all the cameras so they couldn't control Ultraman anymore. That was awesome.
That's right out of a comic book too. Like, that's something that you would see in a comic book.
Yes, so it was so cool, man. The pocket dimension was incredible. Metamorpho, I gotta talk, the dude, so good, man. Anthony Kerrigan, shout out. Dude is awesome. He's a chameleon, and he was amazing. I want to see more Metamorpho. I love that they were like, Hawk Girl said like, "Oh, you should be a part of the Justice Gang," and guy's like, "Hell no!" And then he's like, "Oh, Justice Gang, that's a pretty cool name," and he's like, "You're in."
Such a funny scene.
He was so funny, dude, in that scene in the pocket dimension with him shape shifting, turning himself into acid and shooting it out at everybody and using the tentacles to pull everybody back in. That scene is so cool when he's about to go into the black hole and it slows down and he grabs him with the tentacles and he's pulling them back and Superman blows the smoke to push himself back. And it just goes into that slow-mo scene. And you see the dog kind of just drifting.
He's
drifting, holding on one hand to the baby. And that's such a cinematic, cool scene. I just loved it. The polygon ocean that they were going down, like visually, it just super, super cool. That pocket dimension was really tight.
Peeps, I don't know if I mentioned to you, but so when I had to step out was right after the Mr. Terrific fight. So he had just finished the fight. I walked out of the screen. I didn't come back in.
So you didn't get the introduction to the whole
nothing. I walked back in and Ultraman took off the mask.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. I missed all of that. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I love that scene right before he takes the mask off when she's trying to choke him down with the nanites and and then he flies up and they're like, go catch him, and then cover him up and he goes so high and then just falls down using them as a shield to break it off. That was super cool. Like visually it was just really, really awesome. There's a lot of needle drop kind of moments with just the visuals, right? Like the smoke in the air and him coming up through the smoke after he just saved that woman. Just the different my favorite is just him spinning with the laser eyes and taking everybody out of the sky. That was so badass. I love that scene. It gives me goosebumps every time.
Good luck with that.
It's just, yeah, exactly. Like, stop messing around. I'm not messing around. I'm doing stuff. It's fun. It's lighthearted. It wants you to be kind. Him taking out Lex at the end and really showing him what's up. Again, with the speech of like, I'm not just an alien. Like, I'm more human than you think I am. Like, like I grew up like in this small town. I eat, I drink, I fail, I hurt, I do everything just like you guys do. And then Crypto having the Hulk moment, grabbing him, throwing him around the room, which was an awesome way to kind of wrap it up.
I'm screaming
with him. Just awesome, man. I was like, I love it. And even though Lex deserved it, Superman was still kind of like, Crypto, stop. Crypto, stop.
Yeah.
As he's just tossing him around like a rag doll. There's so many good moments in this thing. The whole 2 hours it falls under this list for the most part. I had a great time with it. I love the goodness of it. I love even when they were fighting the kaiju that he was like, I want to save this thing and take it to like this intergalactic zoo, and then they're just like, we're going to kill it. And he's like, what the fuck, guys? Like, I wanted to save this thing. Like, like he's trying so hard to save it. And everybody else is just like, kill it, get it out of here. So those are my main bullet points. I love it, man. It really starts at the top with casting, goes into the action, the pacing, just all of it consumed, just hit every damn mark. We knew with James Gunn kind of an idea of what we get because of Guardians and everything, Suicide Squad. We know the style now, and that style works, especially for me. And I knew he'd take it there with Superman. I'm glad this is what he wanted to start this universe off with, and I can't wait to see kind of where it goes next. So, Peeps, what you got? What were the highlights for you?
I mean, you pretty much covered it. I think my number one is the Mr. Terrific scene. I'll just say that in case Frigginz wants to add any more to it, but like that scene just it felt very James Gunn, like we mentioned before, the Yondu scene, even the big action scene at the end of the third movie, just amazing action. It just keeps going, and then the next wacky thing just tops what you just saw, and Lois is just the whole time, and it was cool. It was an amazing scene. I love, and then that character, and just really echoing what you said about every character. I think I enjoyed every single character in this movie, even the TikTok girl that Frigginz didn't like. Like, I thought she was great, and Whether if she did it on purpose or it was by accident, I don't know. But like, I want to, like, in my head canon, she was purposefully like doing all her stupid selfies, but actually taking pictures of what's going on in the background. Like, oh, that was actually kind of on purpose. I don't know, probably
It
not,
had to
but
have been, because that's exactly what she said.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I really like Jimmy Olsen. I don't know if you mentioned him too much, but I like him. The fact that he's just this, like, I don't know. I don't want to say like womanizer, but just like, I don't know, like he.
An interesting way to go with Jimmy.
Totally different.
He had her as what, monster toes or something like that, or mutant toes. And
I like how when Lois is like, "And your pretty girlfriend," and he's like, "Wait, she's pretty?" Like it was like it just dawned on him, like right then and there.
Yeah.
And even at the end where she's like, "We could spend the whole weekend together."
Yeah. The whole weekend. I'm sorry, am I inconveniencing you?
Oh, that was really good. Yeah, man, she was great. You know, the whole little news team putting it all together and figuring everything out, and let's go. And he had the cigar, and he's like, you, and you, and I don't know.
Why don't I have a seat?
That's funny.
Yeah, and I don't know I don't know if that's a comic book guy, a character guy. I don't really know much. Oh, he is Frigginz. Oh,
he's the sports. He does the sports, and he's like a total douchebag, like an ad all the time. Yeah.
And like, is that whole pocket dimension?
Saturday Night Live. He's so funny.
Yeah, is that whole pocket dimension and the alien driving the space scooter? Like, is that all a thing too? Like, I don't know. I feel like I need a.
No, I
pocket
think
dimension. Yes, the pocket dimensions are like
little things you create. Yeah, sure, but
the driver, he's
Mr. Handsome.
Not. Yeah, Mr. Handsome. You know, I saw a thing that pointed out
that was part of his cloning when he was doing.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay,
he's a failed clone. Yeah.
Lex has a photo on his desk in one of the scenes. I think it's when Superman comes in for the where's the dog? And before he throws the desk, it shows a photo of Mr. Handsome on the desk.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of crypto, everything that crypto is great. I even love that. And if you've seen James Gunn say anything on talking about the movie, you'll hear that he's mentioned that he's based crypto off of his own asshole of a dog. And he's like, no matter what, like, he still loves them. And that's kind of that vibe that Superman gave. But the thing is like, it wasn't his dog. At the end of the day, it was a little disappointing that like he was just dog sitting, but at the same time, it's freaking Superman. And whether if it was his dog or his cousin's dog or a random squirrel in the middle of the street, like, he's going to do everything he can to save it. So makes sense. Yeah, whatever. Superman. Yeah, I don't know. Like, all the characters are great. Things I liked in the movie, right? Like, the movie was very enjoyable.
The movie is in general.
It was funny. You get this version of Superman that literally, like, whether nobody died in the movie or maybe somebody did, I don't know, but they, like, James Gunn kind of shot it in a way to show that everybody was being evacuated on this one bridge, and it was down to the last person in her car, and Superman still figured out a way to save this last person. I'm like, wow, like that's I don't know, it's really good. I thought it was fun. End credit scenes, we're used to these Marvel really big.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
save that. That's always at the end.
Sorry, it's been a while. You guys, done help me, so I don't know. Yeah, no, I think that's really all that. Oh, the kaiju scene. I think that was the one time I think that we see Superman use his X-ray vision. Like, that's a Superman thing he does, and that was the one time that we see it. Has Henry Cavill ever done that? Like, I don't know.
Good question. I don't know.
But yeah, I thought that was neat.
I remember they mentioned lead door or something at one point in one of the movies, but I don't know that we've ever seen him use it. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen him.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It's in the flashback scene when he's little in school. and he sees everybody as skeletons.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
right.
wow.
He's all freaked out.
That's
Like,
right.
yeah, but I don't think he ever used it like a Superman.
Maybe
Like,
when he was looking for the staff, like or looking for Lois when she was like drowning or something. I feel like that happened, but I don't know. I don't remember.
It's a possibility. Yeah.
Well, real quick before I forget and before I roll to Frigginz for what he loved, I want to talk cameos real quick. Just quick thoughts here on like we had Bradley Cooper as Jor-El. We had Supergirl pop up at the end, right, coming to get her dog, and then we had Peacemaker pop up on the TV, which was really cool. So, I'll go to you, Frigginz, first. What'd you think about these cameos? You like them? Did they work?
Yeah, I thought they worked. And Max Lord even was on like the news thing.
Yeah,
I
don't really count
thought,
them.
yeah, it was so small. I thought Peacemaker gave us a good laugh. I thought, Supergirl was great to see what we're about to get. So you got a little taste of her personality vibe, which matches
the costume. Look, it was perfect.
And it matches the story that the movie is supposedly heavily based on, which I love. It's one of the best Supergirl stories ever. So yeah, I'm just really, really excited, and that really, really pumped me up. Who was the other one? It was Peacemaker, Supergirl, and what's the other one you said?
Bradley Cooper.
Oh yeah. I laughed at how little he was in it. I thought they were going to do a little bit more of a Russell Crowe background kind of thing. So the fact that it was just so small, it actually kind of made me chuckle. But I thought it was it's cool that they used Bradley.
It's cool casting though. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Peeps, what'd you think?
Yeah, no, I thought they were all great. I thought the Peacemaker thing was hilarious because I think he's always specifically talked smack about Superman. So
Superman.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to pop up at the end of Peacemaker season 2. I think Superman's going to pop up on that. It's going to be fun to see them face to face. Because he talked shit in season 1, and then he's talking shit again about them. My theater, both times I saw it, erupted at the Peacemaker cameo, like in laughter. So that was really cool because I don't really know. It's hard to gauge sometimes, like where that character kind of lays on people's minds. Because he's such a weird kind of offshoot character. But big reactions both times I saw the movie. So that was cool. Supergirl, I had heard the rumors she would pop up. And I wish I would have had a little bit more with her. I thought she'd kind of come in and help with the evacuation of Metropolis at the end and kind of help them out a little bit. But it is a good setup for her movie, right? Like, oh, your cousin's here, and then, she comes in all drunk and stuff, and he gives the little quick explanation. She likes to go party on other planets. She loves the red sun, right? And then it's like, oh, there we go, right? So that's where she's taking off to. So is Crypto going to be in the Supergirl movie? It seems like it, right?
Seems like
so
it, yeah.
That's going to be pretty interesting if we see Crypto bouncing around planets with her.
Crypto's actually a very major part of the Supergirl Girl of Tomorrow story. So if they follow that story, definitely gonna have a big part.
Hope so. And then I thought Bradley Cooper was just great. Great casting. Who knows if they'll do anything more with him down in the future? There wasn't very much, but for being Jor-El, which is a big character, I appreciated it being Bradley Cooper. So. All right, Frigginz, let me roll to you. What did you love? What were the standouts for you in this movie?
Well, I will say, like you, I think Superman was, probably the biggest standout. As much as I want to say some of the fun side characters that I absolutely loved, being able to have, I remember my biggest complaint of Man of Steel when I originally did not like it. Again, I grew to like it, but originally I was like, Superman's like more happy. He's supposed to be out there doing good with a smile on his face, bringing joy, bringing hope. And that's what this movie nailed. I mean, they totally got this vibe that made you feel good, made you feel like, like he's going to save the day. He's going to make you feel happy about saving the day. I love that aspect of him finding ways to make people feel, less scared in those scarier situations. Like it was okay because Superman's there. He's going to take care of it. And I love that vibe. We talk about, having, you said was one of your kind of like complaints was that he was just getting his ass kicked all the time. But what I love about it is it goes to that theme of like, even in the face of impossible odds, he still gets back up and goes at it, right? He never gives up. He keeps trying. And like, he's only at 80%. but he's flying right back, like didn't waste any time, gets back into it, even though he knows he might lose still. And it also adds stakes. So we have, this hopeful, energetic Superman with stakes now. And Superman, you called it, like, in other iterations, he's so powerful. But like, we have to remember, he started off as being faster than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in single bound. Like he was
can punch holes
strong.
through planets. That was part of that original.
It was definitely not,
wasn't it?
And so he had to like build up to becoming this, ultra powered character. But so I love that they like had that toned down a little bit. But just the fact that he was like always smiling, always being positive, and bringing optimism, and to we need more optimism, I think, and it made me feel better. Seeing like even in the face of a lot of these like terrible challenges, that he was able to still keep a smile on his face and stay optimistic.
That scene was rough when he had to watch Luthor kill that guy in front of him.
Oh, so dark.
That was rough.
And that's actually a good part of my good, is that like James Gunn didn't shy. James Gunn is notorious for being pretty dark, and he's notorious for having like really gruesome scenes and stuff. So like the engineer goo that was like in his mouth as he's like yanking out, that was like so gross, Slither. Right? And like, yeah, exactly. It gave me Slither vibes. But yeah, that scene was so dark, and to show us, the audience, of like how vile that the President Barovia and Lex in particularly was. Like Lex just had no like remorse, and I think we need to see that, and that helps to generate that like scary character that I was talking about. And like I said, originally my casting was like my negative, and that was a lot of my first like going into it in my first viewing. But like the more, especially on that second viewing, I could appreciate what was done with the characters. And I do agree that Holt is the best live screen Lex that we've seen so far. And he just brought a different take on Lex than I was originally expecting. And so I do appreciate that. And they had that darkness. So, but smiles, being bright, being in the light, everything was out in the sun except for, when they're in the pocket dimension, but that was with a purpose. So yeah, all these things I think help bring Superman to be the star of the Superman show. And I'm okay with there being less Clark Kent because I came to watch Superman. And so they gave me Superman. Outside of that, I would say my favorite thing outside of Superman was definitely Krypto. You guys know I'm a big dog guy. I'm missing my dog like crazy. And just to have those feelings, those connections of like, caring for that creature so much and just wanting like you do anything to save it. And like that was just so awesome. I mean, seeing how playful Krypto was, seeing how much of a pain in the ass Krypto was. I think if anyone has, had a pet like that, you like, whether it's a dog or cat, you can relate to some extent of that pet being a little shithead sometimes, and you hate him sometimes, but then you love them so much. Right. And the idea of them being hurt makes you want to go John Wick. And so it's really cool when he just like throws the freaking, he's like, where's that dog? Like, oh, I love it. Like if something's going to make you go crazy, it's someone harming your dog.
I knew Frigginz was going to like that specifically. And I wanted to let him get that out there because Friggin's dog is an asshole.
He is an asshole.
It is the dog where I go into his house like this. Because Frigginz has told me specifically, don't look him in his eyes, don't make any sudden movements, don't. You know what? I should probably just take him outside, for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. You never know what's gonna happen. He's a little wild. He's
very
like,
I love this animal. I'm like, but he bit you, right? Yeah.
But
love this
I
dog,
deserve
right?
it.
If my kid bit me, I'm putting him down. So
I love in that scene too when he's like, where's the dog? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And when he sips the coffee, he's like, stupid dog, stupid cape. What'd you say?
He's like, you heard him. You got that right. Oh yeah, exactly. Such a good scene. That one cheered me up too. Anything with the dogs, like, just get me. I actually heard that they're in the scene where Ultraman breaks into the fortress. Apparently, there was a scene where he punches Krypto. And I guess the test audience was like, no, we're not doing that. And so they took that scene out.
Yeah, my daughter got really worried when they broke into the fortress and she threw all the nanites over his face.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
"Arr, arr, arr." And my
so
daughter
sad.
looked at me and she was like, "What?" I was
like,
like,
"It's okay,
"He'll be
right?
all right. He'll be all right. Don't worry."
The lady next to me at the theater is like, "Oh my gosh, oh no!" Like it's a CGI dog. Like, come on.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, man. And then a Guy Gardner. Let me tell you, I have not been so excited. I'm wearing my freaking Green Lantern shirt for this because to represent my boy Guy. I actually went to the Tuesday premiere. Everyone had the Superman shirts, just like you were saying, Don. I was rocking the Green Lantern shirt. I was like, I support Guy. I love me a good Green Lantern, and Soup was awesome too. But I had to show some love to the core, and Nathan Fillion is amazing. Everything he does is great. He just brings such charisma to any role, and he plays a jackass perfectly. I loved, how stupid he could be, how much of a jackass he could be, but also how much of a badass he could be. And he was like doing like with the fingers flipping up, like, that was so cool. Mr. Terrific, obviously, like every scene he's in, he's still in the scene. He had the coolest lines. He's like, "I don't do emotions." And then she keeps talking. He looks at her like, "Seriously?" He was just amazing. And like I said, Hot Girl dropping the President Barovia.
She killed the guy.
It's so bad. I was like, yes, because he's like, "Oh, I know you're not going to do anything." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm not Superman." Like, bye. So badass. I loved it. And it's cool too because it shows like for the future, like, how do they get along? Like with Superman, who doesn't want to kill anybody, like how does that impact the overall team? And especially when he eventually meets Wonder Woman, if they have her be, just as violent. But although Batman doesn't kill either, so it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out when down the road when they all meet. But all those things were like huge standout for me. Overall vibe was great, and it just made me feel good. And I think if you could walk out of the movie feeling good, that really did its trick.
Makes you walk out wanting to be a better person.
It does. What is it? Kindness is the new punk.
Kindness is the new punk rock.
Punk rock. Yeah, there you go.
You said earlier, Frigginz, that like hope was like the theme of this movie, and I didn't really get that. I know that's the whole deal with Superman, but I don't know. I didn't really get like hope. Like there was the scene with the kids, and I get that, but like outside of that, I don't know.
And maybe
after that kid, I walked out of the movie being like, "Man, he was all Superman," and then Green Lantern just shows up like, "Oh, I'm here, kid," and I was like, "Oh man, kid never got to be Superman." I really hope off camera, Superman still went over there and said hi to everybody. Because they were chanting him up so good, and I was like, I wish I would have got that payoff scene of him coming in and swooping in, and the kids
girl should have popped up.
That would have been cool. No, I mean, and to your point, like, I think maybe I misspoke with what I hope was definitely the theme, I think, of the teaser trailer and like getting me hopeful, excited, and everything to coming into it. But yeah, I think, looking back now and really thinking about some of the bigger themes that were discussed, it really was more about the kindness and being kind to everything, right? And as the overall theme. And
I don't know where I'm going to put this movie in the ranking for the DCU.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
Number one.
Tough.
I don't know. We'll see.
I also, it made me think when you were talking about Lex killing that guy in the pocket dimension, but on a funnier note, like it cracked me up when Metamorpho turned off the kryptonite and he was like, "Why are you still ugly?"
Oh yeah.
He was all tripping out on him.
And that might be the first time that I've seen them use kryptonite to physically change a person, because we're so used to like the actor just being like, "Oh," but like this time, like there was the physical change to it.
Yeah, the veins and all that.
Breaking them down, yeah. And then he had the kryptonite poisoning, which was really cool too.
Yeah, that was cool.
All right, so then we'll just jump to, and this won't take long, mid-credits and post-credit scenes. I was curious. I was like, what are we going to get? Where is he going to take us on this journey? It's a new DCU. Where are we headed next? Well, the mid-credit scene is just Superman and the dog sitting on the moon looking at Earth, which I'm like, okay, sweet, but fuck, doesn't need to really be a mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
+2 in context of the movie. didn't Supergirl take the dog? So why is that the mid-credit scene?
Yep.
And then we wait through the other 10 minutes of credits, and we just get that random scene of Superman and Mr. Terrific staring at a cracked wall. They're like, yeah, it's a cracked wall.
Well, no,
it's over.
John. What you have to know
I
is
don't
that
know.
they were actually talking to the audience right there. That yes,
I saw
put
that.
everything back together, but it wasn't aligned
Yeah.
right.
The DC universe was cracked, and James Gunn put it together, and that is what that scene is symbolizing.
Such a stretch. Like, come on.
So yeah, anything to touch on with these two kind of throwaway scenes? Like, I didn't even want to sit through it the second time I saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, eh.
I literally didn't. I walked out. I was
Yeah.
done. I would say that for me, I'm already over after credit scenes because I feel like,
But every
it's
movie you watch, you're
rare.
like, is there an after credit scene? I guess
You have to stay to see, but like I'm mad every time. Like there's like very rare anymore that an after credit scene feels like it was worth it. And I just feel like we got to the point where like if James Gunn is saying he's not going to write himself in a corner, then why are we even waiting? Like it's just going to be some dumb joke,
I thought we could have got something else with Kara.
I was hoping
Supergirl
Batman
is the next movie and it's already finished filming. Like, okay, like we're gonna see her going back to another planet or just something. Like I thought we'd get back to the old school Marvel post credits that were like, here's what's next, and we would always just have that like next upcoming project was teased,
which we already know stuff is coming like down the pipeline. Like I don't know, throw something in there for that. What is it? The Authority? Is that the next?
Or show us they've been filming Green Lantern. Show us a little bit of that. Like Marvel used to show some of the next one. I remember
I
they
love
showed
when they sent a scene. Yeah.
I think of the Bucky and Falcon when they caught Bucky and he was like his arm was like stuck in the thing.
Yeah.
Like show us a little bit of Green Lantern.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I thought it'd be Supergirl.
Yeah.
It could have even been a scene from Peacemaker. Who knows? Like just because that's
exactly.
Just a scene.
So
and you're not writing yourself in a corner. You're showing something that's already done.
Exactly. Things that are done. So a couple little throwaway things, nothing too crazy. If you for some reason have watched this and haven't seen the movie, you don't really need to stay. Touching on box office here real quick. The movie here domestically in the US over those first 3 days made $125 million and 220 million globally, making it the third highest domestic debut of the year. It actually is only trailing Minecraft and the Lilo and Stitch movie. So very interesting there. But it actually did better than they thought. They were expecting it to be about 100 million opening weekend, and then it had a really strong Thursday and Friday, and then they started to say, it might hit like 115, and then it came out on Sunday that it was at 122, and then by the time the real numbers came in, it actually was at 125. So the word of mouth is super hot. This thing is fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with about 85%. It's super fresh on the audience side with about 92%. So I mean, it is thumbs up all the way around. Obviously, there's still a lot of Snyder bros, as they like to call them, and saying like, not my Superman, hashtag super shit, like all that good stuff.
It's all those monkeys, man.
Just saying, bring back the old school stuff. We don't want this. I'm just saying, as a Snyder bro, as a guy that enjoyed all those movies, you can enjoy both. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm gonna I've already had people say like, oh, do you like more Man of Steel? This. I'm not ready to make that declaration yet, but I can easily say like they can both be good. Yes, I know you can, but I'm just saying they can both be just as good. Like they both give me something different, right? They're two flavors of ice cream. I like both flavors, right? One is giving me that ultra grounded, what would happen if Superman was really in this world, and the other one's giving me that comic book vibe and just really straight out the pages. And they both work, and they both work well. So there's no reason to hate one over the other. Just enjoy what we got, man.
We live in a world where you can have them both.
Exactly. So as we wrap up, final thoughts and scores. Here's the time out of 5 stars. Where did we land? We're in a year where I'd say the last couple of years where the echelon of a 5 star has been kind of harder and harder to get to. Fred likes to throw them out like candy still, but
it's a lot of good films.
I'm finding them very hard to get to lately. But I've already said, man, I've seen it twice. I'll probably go again. I think it's so much fun. It's a great time at the theater if you go in with that mindset of just, popcorn flick, summer blockbuster. If you love the comic books and you're okay to kind of have that logic in your brain that this could all be in this world and it's just the way it is, and you're not going to overthink things, you're going to have a great time with it, man. The cast kills it. The action is fun. The pacing's on fire. It throws a lot at you, and it, for the most part, all works. So I love this film. It's a great start to this DCU. I'm glad James Gunn is in charge. We'll see where he takes it. We'll see as these threads continue and the overall DCU here. But for me, 5 stars, baby. This movie did it, especially upon that second viewing. No doubt it really hits all those marks. So that's what you got from me. Peeps, what you got on this one?
When I am rating a movie, I don't always succeed, but my mindset when I do it is, did the movie accomplish what it wanted to, what it set out to do, and then like how good was that? And like for this film, like as a superhero movie, as a start to a franchise, as like you said, like a summer blockbuster, a movie that people that saw the Superman from the 70s can watch this movie and enjoy it. Obviously not the same exact way, but still have the like, I see where, like, is it Corn Sweat? Is that the Corn Sweat? How he kind of like, maybe emulated a little bit of Reeves with his version of Superman. And then the dude is like, what, 6'4"? So like, he's just a big dude. So like, it's not like you got this little guy like walking. Like, he's like he has a presence. Mm-hmm. And like DX said, I definitely would have liked to see more of Clark, but this movie accomplishes everything it was supposed to accomplish. Had a good time. I would love to take my kids to see it, even though this is not like my cup of tea for the type of superhero that I like, or even type of superhero. I would say just type of superhero, because the movie itself was great. But yeah, 5 stars. It's great. Great film. If you haven't seen it, watch it. If you watched it, watch it again.
Watch it again.
Definitely watch it again. Yeah, I can attest to that. That second time will make a huge difference. I had a very interesting experience. Yes, exactly. And you miss a huge chunk of the film. It makes a difference. So yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. We talked about how good it made us feel. I do think kindness is the new punk rock, and I think that just really was something that I walked away thinking, like, yeah, we can all be a little bit more kind. We can all be a little bit more Superman, And if a movie can make you feel that way, I think that's a good thing. You'll be entertained. I think you got to avoid a lot of the nonsense that's being spewed about stuff on the internet. It's just haters hating. It's a good film. It has great scenes. It has good action. It has good acting. It has amazing camera work. We didn't even talk about that. So yeah, I mean, and music, we mentioned that James Gunn is great about adding upbeat music. For me, it was songs I didn't even really know existed, and now I want to hear them all the time. So a little bit of everything, making you feel good, and especially if you're an animal lover, to see an amazing dog kick some ass. So I struggled originally on that first attempt. I thought I was going to go a little bit lower, but especially after that second viewing, solidified that, yes, this is a 5-star film. Even though Superman is not my favorite, it gave me all those feelings and everything we've been talking about. So it did what it needed to do, and it did so well. So I'm giving that a 5-star as well.
Whoop. Wow. There we go, man. The elusive 3-way 5-star. I love it.
Yeah.
It's very rare, man. So catch it while you can. So yes, guys, if for some reason, again, you're watching this, you're on the fence. You're like, I wonder, because I heard it's super woke. Should I go see this? Yes, you should. It is not super woke. It is not political. I've been getting so much shit from a lot of people. Like, I don't know what you're listening to. I don't know what you're watching. It's a Superman movie. Just go watch a Superman movie and enjoy it for what it is. So that'll do it for us tonight. Let's kind of go around the horn. Thanks, guys, for jumping on and doing this thing. As you all know, the show is Am I on the Air? Follow it down below at Am I on the Air on Threads, on X, on all the social medias. Of course, catch the normal podcast every week, but this is our special spoiler review, kind of a little spin-off episode. Am I Still on the Air? You can follow me directly at DONMEGA. Jumping over here to Peeps. Tell them, man, what you got.
Yes, and I promise it is not dead, despite life hitting me the way life does. But the People's Forum, that is a little gig that I do. I pretty much do this. I like to have sometimes folks on there with me talking about the same thing. I've had Frigginz on a little bit recently, but yeah, it's been a bit. But again, we're still live. Stop typing to me, Fred. I hear you.
Oh, I was just saying in the chat. Thank you for sticking with us. You know, we're interactive here.
On the Twitter's number 4, my people's on the Twitter. If you want to throw me some words, yeah, that's my.
There you go. Frigginz, tell them what up.
Yo, what up? I am Frigginz. You can follow me on Instagram at Frigginz. That's FRIGGINZ. That's Frigginz with a Z. You know, mostly I've been recently doing just a podcast here with the boys, you know, here on Am I Still in the Air? Or maybe over at the People's Forum, when we've done some discussions there. Normally I do movie reviews, of all the movies I see in theater. This year has been kind of a little bit of a break year. I had a lot of big changes in life. And so, there's been a lot of different things happening, and I unfortunately have put that on the back burner, but hopefully we'll be getting back into doing those reviews here pretty soon. But otherwise, you can find me on these lovely fellows podcasts. So yeah, or follow me on Instagram.
There you go. And if you like this spoiler review, you want to maybe catch some of the older ones that we've done, they're all available right here on our YouTube page. Go to youtube.com/Am I on the Air. Look for the playlist that says Am I Still on the Air. They're all there under one playlist, so you can bounce around, check them out. We've been doing them on video form for the last couple of years. If you want to go way back and just listen to some audio ones, they're all available on the podcast feed. AmIOnTheAir.com is the official page. You can find every episode there and go back and enjoy. You know, if you want to go back, we pretty much do them for every Marvel movie. So if you want to go way back and listen and see what we think about all these Marvels, even the old DCEU, what we thought about all those films, they are spoiler alerts all over the place for you to listen to. So check it out on YouTube. And again, AmIOnTheAir.com. So that'll do it for us here tonight. I hope you all enjoyed the Superman spoiler review. And we'll catch you on the next go around. So till next time, y'all. Peace. Red Dragon!